Market sophistication refers to how many similar products or claims have come before yours in the market that you operate in. In simple terms, how used to your type of pitch is your audience? If what you're offering is brand new, it means that you can present it extremely plainly and people might be excited or interested. But if the market that you operate in is crowded and you have tons of competitors who are all making similar claims to you, it means that your audience is most likely fed up and they're going to be able to tune out anything that sounds like what they've already heard hundreds and hundreds of times. So, understanding the 5 levels of market sophistication is going to help you adjust your value proposition and your offer so that it stands out in your market. So, in this video, we are going to explore each stage of sophistication with an emphasis on what it means for how you present your offer in a cold email, in a video sales letter, through cold DMs, or any other marketing channel. And just a quick note, market sophistication is a concept that comes from Eugene Schwartz's breakthrough advertising. It's about the market's experience. Now, awareness levels, as you can see here, was all about the individual's experience. And I made a video, an entire video, going over awareness levels. So if you haven't watched that, then go and watch that, because these two frameworks, awareness levels and sophistication levels, they go hand in hand. Before we dive in, for some context, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex. I run a B2B lead generation agency, and we work with B2B companies in a variety of industries to help them generate more qualified sales appointments. And so far, we've helped our clients generate over 1.2 million in closed revenue. So if you do run a B2B business and you want more leads on your calendar, more qualified sales appointments, and you don't want to run the system yourself, you just want us to do that for you, then just click on the first link in the description and just book a call with me. But without further ado, let's dive in. So stage one, a completely new market, an unsophisticated audience. What does this mean? This means that nobody has ever seen anything like what you offer before. At stage one, your product or service is the first of its kind that the market has encountered. The audience has never heard any claims like yours because no similar solution has been offered to them yet. It's something entirely new to them. This is what we call the blue ocean. So, for example, think of the very early days of new technology or digital services. The first ever social media marketing agency, aka an SMMA, approaching business owners in the 2000s, or the first smartphone being sold in the era when people only knew flip phones. So that was considered an unsophisticated market at the time. Now, the audience's mindset in an unsophisticated market, also known as stage one, is that they are not skeptical at all, at least for now. And that's because they haven't heard of products like yours before, so they have no reason to disbelieve you. Now, how do you pitch in an unsophisticated market? Well, this is where you need to announce your offer in the most straightforward way, highlight the one big benefit, and just avoid overcomplicating things because it can just confuse people. So, for example, let's say you were the first email marketing service ever. This is what an effective stage one pitch would be. And for those of you who run email marketing agencies, you will understand how different your pitch needs to be in 2025 at the time I'm recording this video compared to this pitch right here. We've developed a way to send electronic letters to your customers instantly. This means you can reach all your clients with special offers in seconds, which was never possible before. Interested in trying this new email approach to boost sales? If you send this to a business owner now, if you send this to a brand now that we've developed a way to send electronic letters to your customers instantly, then they're obviously not going to respond to you and they're not going to be interested, because now email marketing is a much more sophisticated market. It could be a stage three sophistication market or a stage four. But if it was an unsophisticated market, so back when it was, then this is a pitch that could have worked at the time. And because the market is unsophisticated about your offering, your innovation itself is enough to capture the attention. So just by saying that we have this new way of sending electronic letters to your customers is enough to get those people interested. So in a cold email, a stage one offer should similarly just be clear and punchy. This is what I have. This is what it does for you. Do you want it? So a couple of signs that you're in stage one: you have few or no competitors. You get lots of, oh, I didn't know something like this existed, reactions or responses from your prospects. And if you can legitimately say that we are the first or we are the only ones offering this, it means that you're likely in stage one. So to go to the first point, oh, I didn't know that something like this existed, it means that they haven't been pitched this thing before, or at least dozens of times, meaning that it's a relatively new concept. And the second thing, if you're able to say that we are the first or we're the only ones, then once again, it means that you don't really have a lot of competition. So you're likely in stage one. So that is an unsophisticated market. It doesn't really take much convincing or including USPs and other mechanisms to prove that what you do is better than your competition, because you don't really have a lot of competition right now. So stage two is growing competition. In other words, marketplace is heating up. So in this case, the market condition is that others have arrived with similar offers. So now you're not operating in a market by yourself, you have competitors. So the novelty here is wearing off a bit because the market has now heard the basic claim before. So if we go back to the email marketing example, there are now other people who are also saying that we can send these electronic letters to your customers. So now it means that they have a few options and they need to decide which option is the best. So they're still interested in what you offer because it's relatively new, but they're now hearing it from different people. They're hearing different pitches. So by default, this means that they're going to start comparing features and claims. And the bar in this case is rising because the audience is now more sophisticated. And essentially what they're thinking is, okay, you say that you can do X, but so do these other guys. So who can do it better? Who can do it faster? Who can get me the best results? And ultimately, who has the most proof? So how do you pitch here? You need to differentiate by amplifying your claim or highlighting specific features or benefits. So in stage two, you can't just say, I have X that does Y, because other people are saying it as well. So what you need to do is you need to drive your claim to its limit. This means that you need to be more specific, or you need to give a bigger promise, given that it's realistic, it seems achievable, and as long as it's credible. So for example, if stage one was we help businesses get more customers through online ads, stage two could be we help businesses get 50 plus new customers in 30 days through our online ad system. So basically what we're doing here, we're adding a compelling detail. We could even add a guarantee or a dramatic benefit, basically. So 50 plus new customers is a quantifiable end result. In 30 days, we're adding a time frame, and we have our unique online ad system. If you wanted to add a guarantee here, then you could say that if you don't get 50 plus new customers in 30 days, then we'll give you a full refund. So in cold email, a stage two approach would be, you may have heard of services that do X, but here's why ours will get you more. So let's say you run a marketing agency and a couple of competitors have started offering similar services to your target local businesses. A stage one email might be, we do Google ads for restaurants to bring in new diners. A stage two email needs to push a step further, meaning our agency can fill your restaurant with at least 100 new diners, quantifiable end result, in the next 90 days time frame, or you don't pay guarantee. So a couple of signs that you're in stage two is that you notice your prospects are now saying, we've heard of solutions like yours. How are you different from so and so? And there may be multiple companies offering a similar service locally or in your niche, but the market in this case, in a stage two sophistication market, the market is not yet saturated with dozens. There's just a few credible players. So essentially what you need to do here is you need to outclaim your competition. So if they promise X, you need to promise X plus something else, as long as you can deliver it. So stage three now is saturation of promises. This is where the market has essentially heard it all. And I'd say that most agency services are in stage three, maybe even stage four sophistication. And you'll understand why, because if you run any sort of B2B business or an agency, then this stage and the next stage are going to be the ones that resonate the most with you. So the market condition in stage three is that the novelty has worn off and everyone is making big claims now. So by stage three, the market has become flooded with similar promises and solutions. Your prospects have heard the basic claim and even the exaggerated version of the claim from multiple sources. They're now starting to roll their eyes at anything that sounds like, we can get you X results fast, because by now, a lot of those promises are hollow and they just all sound like the same person pitching the same thing, and most of the times not even delivering the results that we're promising. So in this case, skepticism is extremely high. As soon as they see a familiar claim, their guard just goes right up. Yep, I've seen this before. what's different this time? How are you different to all those other people who just pitch the same thing every single day? Now, they may still have the desire, especially if you're in a market with a strong fundamental desire, like making more money, losing weight, etc., etc. You're always going to have buyers, but they no longer respond to the same old promises. They now need a new reason to believe any particular offering. So they start actively seeking what's unique about this person or this business. So, how do you pitch in a stage 3 market? Well, now it's very important that you introduce a new mechanism or a distinct explanation for how you get results. This is the classic stage 3 approach. So, since the prospect no longer trusts what you promise, because everyone is promising exactly what you're promising, whether you like to believe it or not, there are people, hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people in certain markets that promise the exact same thing as you. So, what the prospect assumes now is that every agency is going to say, we can get you more customers. So, what you need to do now is you need to impress them with how you can get them more customers. So, you need to reframe your offer with a unique mechanism, a process, a new technology that makes the old promise work better. So, for example, most marketing agencies run basic ads. We take a different approach. Our agency uses a proprietary AI targeting system that finds high spending customers who are 3x more likely to buy your services. It's like sniper precision for your ads. Don't just take the copy word for word here, but you get the idea. What you're doing now is that you're giving these prospects a reason to perk up, meaning that this is not the same old pitch that you've heard hundreds of times. We're backing our promise with a mechanism that sounds new and intriguing. So essentially, the attitude here is yes, we also ultimately bring you more customers, but this is the new way that we do this that's better than the old way. So prospects in stage 3, they will respond, and they will only respond when they think that they haven't heard this angle before. And it offers hope that maybe after hearing all those hundreds of pitches, this specific pitch will actually work. So, a couple of signs that you're in stage 3, you will hear things like, we've tried similar services before and it didn't work, or why is your approach any different? Because everyone says the same thing. So, in this case, a straightforward ad or an email is not going to work like it used to, because many competitors are out there and the customer has maybe even been burnt by your competitors. So if you're offering cold email services, email marketing services, any sort of agency service, it's very likely that your target customers have already worked with a company like yours and they've been burned at least once. So that's why skepticism is extremely high. So a key tip here is that you need to highlight your unique selling proposition, and you also need to understand that it's not enough to promise a benefit. So what you need to do is you need to answer the internal question, what have you got that I haven't seen before? That's stage 3. Stage 4 is hyper competition, the escalation of mechanisms and claims. So the market condition here is that everyone is trying to one up each other, and many businesses are dropping out, the ones that can't compete. So in stage 4, the market is extremely competitive, extremely crowded, and only the people with the best service, the ones who are getting the best results, and the ones who are staying consistent are the ones that remain in the market, and they're all pushing the boundaries of promises. We're going to promise more, we're going to innovate more, we have a bigger claim, a better guarantee. And the initial novel mechanism that was introduced in stage 3 by one player has now been copied or countered by everyone else in the market. So the mindset here is not only highly skeptical, but also overwhelmed by options, by new and improved options. And every time they see some new form of this solution, they get more skeptical and more doubtful. They almost have too many options to choose from. Now, the fortunate aspect of this is that they still have the core desire, meaning that it doesn't change the fact that brands want more revenue or B2B companies want more leads. And the good thing is that a few providers are still delivering results, which is the only reason why these markets are still alive. So by stage 4, prospects, they start to respond mainly to the businesses who can prove superior results or a dramatically better mechanism. These minor improvements do not make a difference anymore because people have become desensitized to all these new mechanisms to the point where they just don't hit a nerve anymore. So what you need to do now is you need to combine a stronger promise with a new fresh twist, and then you also need to back it up with social proof. At stage 4, you need to crush all your competitors' claims and you need to introduce the new mechanism. And then you also need to back it up with evidence and social proof and testimonials. Okay, because now if I want you to take away one thing from a stage 4 market, which is very likely a market that you're in if you run an agency, is that the audience, your target customers, are actively on the lookout 24/7 for bullshit. So whatever claim you make, you better be able to justify it immediately. If your target market, even for a split second, thinks to themselves that maybe this guy is bullshitting, then you've lost the deal 100%. So it can help to directly or indirectly contrast yourself with the competition in your messaging because the prospect is most definitely comparing. So for instance, in a cold email or in a video sales letter or any other marketing channel, this is what you could say. You've likely tried or heard about other marketing agencies and their fancy AI tools by now. The problem is many of these tools are just a black box. We do use cutting edge AI, but we take it a step further. Our system actually talks to you in plain English reports. You know exactly what's working and why. Plus, we don't stop at lead generation. We guarantee conversion rates by aligning with your sales team. No one else does that. So here's what we did now. We implied that our mechanism is better and more advanced. It's not just AI, but it also communicates and one that ties into conversions. So we're not just doing lead generation, but we also help you with sales to make sure you also get the deal closed. We also made a bigger promise. We guaranteed conversions, which is more than just delivering leads. And we also explicitly or implicitly knocked our competitors by saying that no one else does this in 2025. Okay, so stage 4 is about pushing everything to the max, everything to its limits, but while still sounding credible. Because if I just say that I can help you get 250 sales appointments in the next 7 days, then that doesn't sound very realistic. So your cold email can lean heavily on case data or results as well. Last month alone, we helped 3 restaurants not just get new customers, but increase their repeat visit rate by 40%. Those numbers are unheard of in our field, and we achieved it thanks to our unique 2-step campaign strategy. So this shows an outcome beyond what others have been saying, backed by evidence. So a couple of signs that you're in stage 4. Many competitors have come and gone. A few big ones remain in the industry. Customers roll their eyes at most marketing, but they do perk up at very specific claims or strong credentials. You might find it very hard to get attention unless you're saying something that is truly unheard of or bold or different. Often, pricing competition might also heat up, meaning that some of your competitors are literally competing on price or offering crazy deals to win customers. And a key tip here is that you need to present something that just appears significantly better. And this could mean niching down further or expanding scope. So, for example, let's say an agency at stage 4 might become the only agency that specializes 100% in Instagram marketing for vegan restaurants, a niche within a saturated niche. So that's the kind of mechanism by ultra specialization, implying better results for that niche than generalists. So, for example, if you run an email marketing agency and you work with every single brand that is on this planet and you're not selective and you don't actually have a niche, then there's no reason for your target customers to really pick your marketing agency as opposed to anyone else. Whereas if you're the only marketing agency that focuses 100% on growing the brand's Instagram or 100% on growing the brand's TikTok, but the only types of brands that you work with are, let's say, vegan products, then you increase your chances of getting those types of customers by 10x. Because now those vegan brands have a reason to choose you as opposed to anyone else because you specialize in that niche. So that is a good way to stand out in stage 4. Now, stage 5 and the final stage is the market on the defensive, meaning skeptical, hard to please audience. So in this case, there is total saturation. Customers literally do not believe any claims anymore. The audience has essentially heard it all and they are numb to both new claims and new mechanisms. The market is extremely mature or fatigued. Many competitors have either given up or consolidated, and the remaining ones might all sound the same to the customer. So at this point, even great offers struggle because the customers are just like, yeah, sure, I've heard it all before. I bet that's what you all say. And essentially, they are just not in the mindset to listen to or read any form of marketing. So they are highly skeptical, if not cynical. They are not swayed by bold promises or fancy new features anymore. And those almost backfire at this point because they've been burned so many times that now everything just sounds too good to be true. And then just bring me the next guy. And now, this is the most important part. At stage 5, prospects often start to filter based on brand, identity, or relationship as opposed to features and claims because that's something that they can still trust. Essentially, when, what, and how have been exhausted, and now who becomes key. So, how do you actually pitch? What you need to do now is you need to go indirectly, meaning that you need to appeal to identity, brand, or exclusive positioning. In stage 5, all these direct headlines and offer, we can get you X result in Y time frame or you don't pay, are likely to be ignored. What you need to do is you need to tap into identification, meaning that you need to resonate with who the customer is or who they want to be. So another tactic here is also exclusivity, meaning that you need to make your offer feel like it's not for everyone and only for a select group. So this is very similar to what we talked about in stage 4. The psychology here is to revive the interest by not making a straightforward pitch and by creating an intrigue or a sense of belonging. So, in cold email terms, an indirect approach might start with a story or a scenario that the prospect identifies with before even mentioning the product. For example, as a restaurant owner who prides himself on community reputation, you've probably seen how impersonal mass marketing can feel. It turns off customers, and I don't blame you for ignoring those one size fits all marketing blasts. I run a different kind of marketing firm. In fact, we don't work with just any restaurant, we partner with only a few select eateries who believe in personal, local touch as much as you do. And that's why I'm reaching out to you specifically. We're essentially saying this is not about us claiming that we are the best at X. It's about you, your values, and an opportunity that not everyone has access to. And essentially, this kind of messaging can penetrate stage 5 defenses because it doesn't trigger the immediate, I've heard it all, I don't want to hear it again. It feels fresh in the sense that someone is finally talking about something different, an identity, a movement, an opportunity for a select few rather than a mass marketing message. So, when you do mention your offer in stage 5, you need to frame it as something for a discerning exclusive group. For instance, our approach or our strategy, our mechanism is not for everyone. It's quite hands on and only suits restaurants who genuinely care about building local customer loyalty. That's why we only take on one new client per quarter in our city. I'm reaching out because I think you might be a fit for this program. So, this feels extremely different to all those typical we can get you an extra 30% in revenue in the next 90 days or you don't pay because now you're leveraging exclusivity and identification. So another real world iconic example is Apple's marketing in the I'm a Mac versus I'm a PC era. Essentially, what they were doing here is that they were selling an identity that the Mac users are the cool and the creative ones. So, in an oversaturated PC market, Apple just made it about who you are if you choose them. So, similarly, a stage 5 cold email might make the prospect feel that this person understands me and they're not desperate for my business. They're inviting me into something special. And I want to be a part of that. So, a couple of signs that you're in stage 5. Prospects literally tell you, I'm tired of marketing pitches. We've tried everything under the sun. Nothing impresses me anymore. They might be somewhat disengaged. They only stick with known brands or personal referrals. It's likely that they have an advertisement fatigue. They don't want to listen to any adverts anymore. If you find that even very innovative pitches aren't getting traction, it might just be because the market has seen too many iterations. And a key tip here is that you need to shift from trying to persuade people to become your clients to selecting, meaning that in stage 5, you almost have to act like the customer has to qualify for your offer and not that you're begging for their attention. And this reverse psychology is quite intriguing because you need to use storytelling, you need to align with their values, and you need to cut out all the salesy tone because people have had enough of it. You need to focus on the customer's identity, their aspirations, their current state, their desired state, and only then, once they align with the story, you can position your solution as the vehicle to take them from A to B. And essentially, what you need to do is you need to sell the relationship or the exclusivity and not the product, the features, the service, the benefits. Once they trust that, then the sale is going to follow naturally. Okay. So these are the 5 levels of sophistication. And by adjusting your cold email in these ways, depending on how sophisticated your market is, then you will be able to see significantly better results in your cold emails, in your video sales letter, in your DMs, even in your YouTube videos by the way that you address your target audience. So it's all about matching your message to the market's level. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. You should have a good understanding of the 5 levels of sophistication. If you do run a B2B business, then you should be able at this point to pinpoint at which stage your specific market is at. And then based on that, you should be able to now tailor your messaging and your pitches to what your audience wants to hear at that level of sophistication. Now, what I mentioned at the beginning of this video is that I also made a video before this one on awareness levels, which is another marketing fundamental by Eugene Schwartz. And I highly recommend that you go watch that as well, because these two frameworks go hand in hand. You need to know your audience's awareness levels and also your market sophistication level in order to create the perfect marketing message. So one more thing before I close. If you run a B2B business and you want more qualified sales appointments booked on your calendar, but you don't want to do the work, you just want us to do everything for you, then just click on the first link in the description to book a call with me. If you run a cold email agency or a B2B business, but you want me to mentor you and show you how to do all this, how to set up a system that allows you to generate more qualified sales appointments, but you want to do it yourself, then just click on the second link in the description, fill in the application form, and then if we're a good fit to work together, then I'll reach out to you. And one last thing, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.